previous session we have talked about the organization culture and that how the organization culture that influences the talent management practices. Now we will talk about the 6 stages for the creation of the culture of innovation, how we are creating that particular culture. Now in the stage 1, creating the climate where the innovation and enterprise can flourish is a very important stage in the innovation process. So therefore, we will find that is the whenever we are talking about the innovation is required. Nowadays when in the such a tough time, COVID-19 time we are talking about, then definitely otherwise also every country is required to have the own small medium enterprises, right, micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, and that is possible only by the creating a climate. So, how to create that climate for the innovation, and if we are creating that innovation culture or climate in the organization, so new product development will be there. Always there will be the creative minds, and the creative minds will come out with a particular solution, and that will give us the ROI. So, that is why we say that is the enterprises can flourish is a very important stage in the innovation process. But first and foremost is that is the creation of that climate, and therefore, in that creation of the climate it is becoming very necessary, that is the we are having those practices and those values. If we are having those value systems and the values are created on the basis of the practices, and that is why in the orientation program also the employees are told that is what they are supposed to do and what are expected from them in this particular organization. So, that here that creation of these those values, those practices which will be result into a climate, and the enterprise will get into the better ROI. If one examines the organizations that are leaders of the innovation, that is those organizations why they are leaders, there are very sound business processes that harness and encourage creativity and innovation from all employees. So, every employee, there will not be a separate employees only, of course, there will be the talented employees that which we identify, and therefore, from those groups of the employees we can see their creativity and innovation, the way they work. You ask any 5 people to give the presentation, and the way they give on the same topic, and the way they make the efforts and then they produce, you will be able to understand that is where is more engagement, commitment, involvement, and create automatically when these value systems are there will be the outcome of the creativity. So, these are the very sound organizations, those who are leading organizations, they what they do, they encourage creativity and innovation from all employees. Good ideas do not just come from the inventive minds of the leaders or their creative teams. So, so therefore, it is not that is it is just comes, right. What is required is that enabling conditions, enabling environment is required. So, where do you start? So, how do we do that? So, now naturally the first will be the creating the right climate. So, what means? That means that the CEO to the most junior supervisor, right, that is the from the CEO to the most top to bottom, everybody you need to recognize and champion idea generation. It is very interesting. Whenever their interaction or in the existence is there in the organization, so you identify the champions of idea generation. So, that mind will always creating the certain ideas, that why we do not do like this, why do we do like this, right. So, therefore, and this is not necessary that these ideas, creative ideas will come from the top only, that is from the CEOs only. It goes from the CEOs to the most junior supervisor, even a worker. So, therefore, the levels which are the different levels are there. So, those at any level the champion might be existing. What organizations are required, that they have to identify that particular brain or that particular employee who is the champion of ideas. There needs to be a culture in which people are encouraged to take action. This is also very important, right. It is not the idea generation. Now you see that is the very important point. At many places, in many organizations, you will find there are the idea generators. So many ideas, but there is no conversion of ideas into reality. Therefore, it is required to take action on these ideas. Whatever the ideas are there, these ideas that has to be connected with the action. If we are connecting those ideas with the to take the action, then definitely in that case we will be able to convert the idea into product, new product development, and use their initiatives. They are taking an initiative, so we should encourage. Normally what happens, this type of the ideas and initiatives, there are two aspects. One is the finance. So, whether the organization is having that system of the investments or not, first part. Second is that is those resources and the patience that will take time. So, do we that organization have that much of patience and allowing those practices for the innovations, which may ultimately result into zero also. So, not necessarily that every idea generation and then the taking action will convert into a fruitful product, right. But what is required is to use their initiative, we have to allow them to do. But because of the threat of the finance and threat of the failures, the many organizations, they do not allow to go for this type of the idea generations. Often it is the customer and the frontline employee who can see where the small improvements can make a real difference. This is also very important point. Frontline employees, please always this type of the practices where the creativity, innovation, problem solving, productivity, production is concerned, please have a inclusive leadership. Involve the frontline managers, frontline workers, because it should go from bottom to top. So, whenever there are these type of the small improvements that can really make a difference is there. So, here we have to encourage that climate by the idea generations, giving that support to create that idea into the taking the action, and these ideas are most probably comes from the frontline managers at the junior levels. Giving people the freedom to make and act on suggestions is the start of the creating the ideal environment for idea generation. So, therefore, in that case it is always preferred to that is the whatever the suggestion is there and the creation is there, and there is an ideal environment or idea generation is provided. One of the important skills for any manager is the ability to coach others, right, and that ability to coach others comes from that is the how that relationship between the coach and the learner is developed, mentor mentee is developed. For developing that relationship, it is very important that is the engagements and commitment of the learner and the expertise and the leadership from the superior, that is to be matched. So, whenever we are matching that the learner's ability and the motivation, the idea generations, right, with the leadership style. So, therefore, for manager is the ability to coach others. So, how it is to be done? By encouragement, by participation, by competitions, by sports, by business games, by exercises, by case studies, by meetings, by brainstorming sessions, by group discussions, by case as I mentioned case studies, right. So, therefore, these are the different ways in which the manager should encourage to coach others. Good coaches naturally need to know how the people they are coaching operate, right. So, therefore, always The good coaches will be always have to understand, naturally understand, that is the to whom they are coaching, then what is the their outcome, where the potential is, and if there is a potential and identification, we have seen the potential appraisal and performance appraisal, and in the talent management, if the potential appraisal is done properly, then that will be definitely, there will be the coaching will be there for the subordinates. This includes understanding their preferences in innovating, that is the how they have to go in the preferences in the innovation. If you are coaching someone who is naturally creative, some talented people are the naturally creative, but some can we make some people more creative by coaching? Yes, we can. If you are coaching someone who is naturally creative, who regularly generates the highly original ideas, it is important to recognize how to create an environment in which he or she can develop. This is very important point. Sometimes we hire the talented employees, but we are not able to get the maximum output from them. The reason is that the persons, the superiors, the coaches, they are not that much engaged or involved to identify the talent from those employees and then nurture that talent and convert into the new product, because everything will be required a path. So, therefore, in that case, he or she can develop. Creative people can be perceived as being difficult to manage also. It is not that easy, as I was saying, that is the coach will identify the potential and then will train, and then there will be the new product development and there will be the ROI. It is not that easy. Why? Because these talented people are also difficult to manage. They may not easily conform. So, therefore, this is the possibility, that is these employees are these talented employees, they will not easily come out with those creativity, their idea generations and their output, and right, their fertile mind. It is not that easy. So, what is the then the solution? Solution is that is again, that is the coach is providing that support, that automatically the mentee or the trainee, he goes and asks for that how he can nurture more of his talent. And okay, there is a very interesting point is here, that is these talented people in which we want to develop that climate and culture and new product development and innovativeness, encouragement. They may arrive late for meetings, and now we can understand, that is if the talent, that is very interesting situation. When the talented employees, they are not that much abide by the rules, regulation, laws, punctuality, gentleness, then what to do? That point we are discussing. So, they may arrive late for the meetings, refuse to complete the paperwork. What were they expected to come with the complete paperwork, and they say no, I could not get time, no, I have not seen, I will bring next time. So, therefore, refuse to complete the paperwork and have difficulty in time keeping. What the top management of coaches were looking, they were looking for the time management, and here the talented people, they will find difficulty in the time keeping. So, therefore, it is a difficult task. You have to coach and mentor a person who is coming late in the meetings, who is not doing his paperwork, and he is having the difficulty in time keeping. So, therefore, then how to coach that person, because he is a talented person. Most of the people will say okay, take action or terminate him, right, but what is to be done? So, in the stage 2, idea generation, having the ability to generate ideas is a very special skill and one that is needed by all organizations, right. So, that is requires from the top management itself, bosses, that is the ability to generate the ideas, how they are able to develop that particular generate the idea, because everybody cannot develop the ideas. You ask in particular problem, this is a problem, how to solve this particular problem, they may give the traditional solutions only, then they will say I do not know, hame nahi pata, but somebody will think differently. So, idea generation is very special skill and it is needed by all the organizations. Therefore, encourage teams to work together generating the ideas. This is also the another the approach. So, in the first stage we have seen one-to-one coaching, that is a coach is there and mentee is there, and coach is developing that particular guidance and encouraging the ideas and creating the climate, so that the mentee becomes the more creative, innovative and encourage more ideas. So, therefore, in that case there it is the that is from the stage 1 we have seen the individual one-to-one, but in the stage 2 we are talking about the generation of ideas by team generation, encouraging people to work with the other persons, and therefore, they will be coming out with the ideas. Many times when it is not possible to get the realistic idea from one person, but that one person when joins a team, he is able to generate the very realistic ideas. Managing the process of idea generation is especially important either for yourself or your team. One of the first steps is to understand the stages in the creation and development of the idea. So, how that ideas team building is to be developed in the individual and team. Encourages ideas. Do not say this is a rubbish idea, this will not work, this is not practical, it is a theoretical idea. Do not kill that idea, rather than let them create the more and more ideas. You know that many of them are theoretical, many of them may not be useful, many of them are having the high investment of money which is not possible. So, in spite of this, that is they encourage the ideas, considers all the options. All the options are to be considered, that is the whether A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, right, and therefore, in that case if you see that is the A, B, C, D is given, somebody has given the X, Y, Z. Now, how we are making, suppose A is not possible, A, B, C, D is not possible, X, Y, Z is not possible, then what? Can we combine the A into Y, and then we create this idea. So, therefore, in that case it becomes very important, that is the how we are going to create this particular environment, the team building is there. So, therefore, here it will be very difficult for them, that is the encouraging those ideas, and so sometimes we may go by this particular idea where we go to find out the permutations and combinations. If we are able to develop those permutation and combinations, then definitely in that case we will be able to generate the more and more ideas are there. So, here I would like to mention, that is the encourage the ideas as much as possible. If we are able to encourage those ideas, then definitely we will be generating more and more these combinations, like these combinations, or sometimes we will go to combined with these combinations, right. So, therefore, create as much as combinations as much as possible, or this combination is there. So, but all these combinations that may not be practically possible, and if these are not possible, then maybe some of them, and the ideas, another formula, idea generate the new ideas. So, therefore, there might be the another ideas. If you are not able to, but what is important, that is the hundreds of ideas are generated. Encourage the ideas as much as possible, and then finally you come to know, that is the suppose these A, B, C, D ideas, these are becoming the more important, right. So, then consider all the options. So, in the planning function also of a manager, when we talk about, that is create the alternatives as much as possible for any problem, no, in the management also. If you are you want a solution, create the alternatives as much as possible. Now you see, some people will create the 5 alternatives, some people will create the 10 alternatives, no, some people will create the 20 alternatives, 50 alternatives, as much as possible. Encourage the create the all the alternatives as much as possible, then evaluate the alternatives, right. And when there is evaluation is done, then this encourage the teams to develop the ideas. Now that is by the individual has created. Now you are also giving them importance, therefore encouraging teams to work together. So naturally, whether the one person or the team, they will create the number of ideas is there. And what is to be done? These ideas are not the common ideas, that is the point. These ideas are the out of the box thinking from out of the box, and therefore in that case it becomes very important. That is the, whenever any organization at the workplace is helping the people to think a thought process, is encouraging them to work differently. And as we have seen in the previous slide, that is, even the people are, those creative people are coming late, they are not able to complete their paperwork, fine, that will be done by any other employee, but the way they think, those ideas, capturing those ideas, that is really very difficult, and the one idea clicks, then everything is done, right. So whole business that will be flourish, or there will be good ROI, return on investment. So do you encourage? Do you think these so many ideas? Do you encourage others, the people surrounding to you, to create the ideas, how to do, what to do, or you are autocratic, that is what I said, you do like this only, or you give the freedom and flexibility that okay, this is a job, it is up to you, how do you do that job, that is generating the ideas. The person may for the less time will do the better way, right. So therefore in that case, that is the encourage the out of the box thinking process. If we encourage our employees to think out of the box, then definitely we will be more successful. In the stage 3, developing and exploring the original idea. Once original ideas have been created, like in this process we have seen, that is how original ideas have been created. So on the basis of this, when we are creating the original idea, once the original idea have been created, okay, let us go. For example, any particular equipment or instrument, you ensure that is, this will be the audio instrument, this will be the video instruments, and therefore you come out with that idea, no, this will be the audio instrument only, and therefore that have been created. It is important to be able to develop these ideas further, right, like we have seen, like the Apple is doing. So therefore there are so many series are there, right. So therefore we will talk, and then again in the technology we see 3G, 4G, 5G, that we will see. So therefore in that case, or in the TVs you find, right. So there will you find the curved TV is there, then there are the different sizes of the TVs, are the smaller size is there, the biggest size is there, like the technology is different, monitors are different, right. So there are so many things. And I would like to mention from my side that it is not necessary it is in the technology development only. It can be a simple work from work at home also. So therefore your interior, even interior, the housewife decides and she comes out with the different ideas, though that is a totally manual, no technology is there, but there is a beauty in the brain. So therefore in that case it is important to develop these ideas further. What is important is to create an open environment, and many times we fail in to create that open environment. because we are scared. That is, as soon as we will make the open the environment, the people will misuse their freedom, and if they misuse their freedom, then that will be violation of rules, regulations, culture, values and all. So, threats are more to create that open environment, but open creation of open environment is a condition. You have to create the open environment, but if you create the open environment, then the culture may spoiled. So, what is to be done? Yes, you are right, a balance is required. Create the open environment, but have a proper control mechanism so strong that is the open environment does not cross the boundaries. But that is in art and skill, it is not physically that this is the environment and this is the boundary, it is not LSC LOC, this is the behavior. So, therefore, create an open environment where teams can share ideas and build on the original concept. In this way, a good idea can be developed by input from others, because you are talking about the team building, team ideas. So, the more emphasis is on the team ideas. There is another important aspect in the team ideas and the individual ideas. In team ideas, it will be discussed in length, and there were more dimensions will be covered in discussion, while in the case of the individual, it is the individual's idea. So, therefore, there might be the less chances. So, what is important is that is a developed input from others in large organizations, especially LEs. So, one side we talk about the MSMEs, startups. To start a startup, a good idea is required, it will be a small organization. But when we are talking about the large organizations, then there will be the large enterprises, and in the large enterprises we have to see that is the a good what we can that idea department region can be shared and modified, and if the department region can be shared and modified to meet the operational and cultural demands, this is what I was talking about. So, whenever any particular organization or from one department or from one person or from one team, one region, when the idea develops, right, in the large enterprises, that will be modified to meet the operational cultural demands from another region. So, naturally there will be certain changes and challenges. So, you have to meet those challenges and changes. To meet the challenges and changes, it is necessary that is the you adopt the that is the global but local. So, that local concept that you have to include, and therefore, in that case that is the culture demands from the another region that will be modified, that is why the word has been used, modified. Modified to meet the operational and cultural demands. So, this is a modification is required because there is a different cultural practices are different, maybe from east to west, north to south. So, you will find that as soon as the idea is okay, it is acceptable, but it will be changing with the culture demands. Where organizations have merged, good ideas can be shared from the experiences of the others, and when definitely when one organization or one unit which is creating those ideas and becoming successful, simple example is of like a solar energy, using the solar energy, and then one idea has been successful, you can use for the other purposes also. In some sectors, teams from the different organizations work together to achieve breakthroughs. Yeah. So, it is not necessarily the team will be from the same organization, same unit as we have seen in the previously, it may be from the other region also. So, cross functional teams, cross cultural teams that can be also work together to achieve breakthroughs or technology improvements. That is very much possible, that is you are creating those breakthroughs or the technology improvements are there. Increasingly, global teams can use the different time zones to move an idea forward. Yeah. So, here there might be the time gap, and as a result of which that idea may not be really converted into timely timely into the product. Why? Because the global teams are there, right, and they are working into different time zones, and then therefore, they push that idea in the global zone, that will be really difficult. So, there can use a different time zones to move an idea forward. Naturally, one will be from the USA, one will be from India. So, there will be the different timings will be there, and there are different time zones to move an idea forward is required. So, what is the creation of climate? The creation of climate is a share the ideas, enable teams to develop the winning ideas, searches widely to seek and build on those ideas, and looks for the possibilities in ideas, that is the what is the possibility is there. So, first is that anybody or the coach or the employee, they will generate those ideas, and those ideas will be enabling team to develop the winning ideas will be there. So, that is yes, practically and commercially this is possible. Such as widely to seek and build on ideas. So, organizations will be working on that, that is let us try, it may be a research project. So, they may try on in the labs and all, and looks for the possibilities in ideas, that what are the different possibilities are there, and has the senior management listen openly, and as a result of which you will find that is the senior management will be listening them the openly. So, whenever we go by this, then the senior management may give the approval, and then you can develop the new product. So, this is up to the stage 3 which we have talked about. Rest of the stages we will talk in the next session. Thank you.